to the $100 MBA show. Whether you're on your way to seven figures or on the way to the gym, we got you covered with our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. Make sure you check out our free course and our free guides over at 100mba.net. Today's episode is a must-read episode where I share with you a book that has greatly influenced me as an entrepreneur. I share with you some of its insights, its takeaways, as well as why you should read this book as well. And today's must-read is The Dip by Seth Godin. If you've been following the show from the start and been listening to the must-read episodes, you know that I'm a big Seth Godin fan. I love the way he writes. I think he's very to the point, he's concise, and he's a great storyteller. And in this book, The Dip, Seth Godin goes into a topic a lot of people don't want to talk about. In business, when do you know when to quit and when to hang on and keep persevering? Anyone who started a business can definitely relate to this book. He talks about a lot of tough things we go through. But more importantly, the book talks about when to pivot. When is it time for you to start changing course? Or when you should keep maintaining your current course. I can't wait to get into all the details of this must-read, so let's jump right into it, guys. Let's get down to business. Today's episode of the $100 MBA show is sponsored by Heroic Public Speaking, the live public speaking training event of the year. If you want to be better on video, better on camera, better on stage, better in a negotiation, you got to come to Heroic Public Speaking. To get your heavily discounted ticket, head on over to 100mba.net/speaking. Again, that's 100mba.net/speaking, and we'll see you there. Everyone associates the path to success with hard work, dedication, and sometimes a little bit of luck. But the secret to success isn't luck. And it isn't really about hard work, or only hard work, or dedication for that matter. According to Seth Godin, who's a best-selling author and a dynamic speaker, the true secret to success is quitting, or knowing when to quit. Because at the end of the day, you can't do everything. You have to focus your energies on the things that are working, or the thing that's working. In the book, The Dip, and the subtitle is a little book that teaches you when to quit and when to stick. Godin explains that truly successful individuals and organizations are ones who are not afraid to quit or to pivot. Or a better way to say it, they know what to quit and when to quit it. According to Godin in the book, he says, most of the time we deal with obstacles by persevering. But sometimes we get discouraged and we turn to inspirational writing, the likes of Vince Lombardi, who says quitters never win and winners never quit. Godin thinks this is bad advice. He says winners quit all the time. They just quit the right stuff at the right time. Now, the reason why I love this book is because he attacks a very serious issue or a very serious topic. Are you climbing up a ladder that's leaned against the wrong wall? Or when you're stuck or you're having a struggle in your business or you're plateauing, is it a dip or is it a cul-de-sac, as Seth likes to say? Now, while Godin believes that quitting can be productive, he doesn't advocate it in all forms. He says in the book that strategic quitting is a secret of successful organizations. Reactive and serial quitting are the bane of those that strive and fail to get what they want. Godin describes that there are two common situations that lead people to quit: the dip and the cul-de-sac. Let's talk about the difference. The dip is the long, hard period between beginning something new and finally mastering it. It's after the excitement of the first beginning days or the launch of your business. After all that has worn off. But this is before the fulfillment of your dream or success in your mind. It's a time during which, although it seems quite reasonable to quit, you should stick it out. Why? Because Godin says that almost everything in life worth doing is controlled by the dip. And while the dip may seem long and painful, the good news is it's actually a shortcut to success. The dip weeds out the competition. In other words, people that survive the dip are the ones that make it. So if you just hang in there, you can make it. It could be a very grueling midpoint of a marathon. This may be the point where many people give up. Therefore, you can make it by just holding on while you're in the dip. If you come out the other side, you'll realize that you don't have much company. Not many people make it the other side because they just don't hang on. And if you make it to the other side, you'll find yourself being one of the best in your field. And being the best has big rewards. Ask big companies like Apple or Starbucks, or great authors like Stephen King. They survived the dip. Now here's the real insight. Godin says the secret to dealing with the dip is to figure out beforehand if you're willing to see this project all the way through, if it's worth your doing, if it's worth your time and effort and struggle. If you're not willing or the payoff is simply just not big enough, quit before you enter the dip. Basically, if it's just not worth it for you, then you shouldn't hang on for no reason. Be honest with yourself. You don't really need it. You don't really want it. But if you begin the dip, be prepared to persevere. Because quitting in the middle is the worst waste of your effort and potential. Godin also reminds you when you're reading the book to follow through, that the end of the dip is near. In other words, no one quits the Boston Marathon on mile 25. After all, who's going to drop out of the race when you're just by the finish line, when the finish line is in sight? But let's be honest, we commit ourselves to completing a project or staying with a company or relationship only to discover later that the situation is stagnant and there's no potential for real growth. This can happen in business, obviously, all the time. This is what Seth Godin calls a cul-de-sac. Now you can see the difference between a cul-de-sac and a dip. While the dip gets better if you push hard enough and persevere, the cul-de-sac doesn't really improve, no matter how hard you try. That means your business, it just didn't have the stuff to make it through. It's just not good enough. People don't want it enough. So you can see why Seth Godin says success lies in recognizing a situation or relationship as a cul-de-sac or a dip. So if you see a cul-de-sac on your hands, don't be afraid to quit. According to Godin, he says cul-de-sacs drain your energy and resources, diverting the attention away from making through a worthwhile dip. So as you can see, this book's topic can get really deep, and Seth Godin has plenty of great wisdom when it comes to this. And if you're in that dip right now, or possibly a cul-de-sac, this is a book you should really pick up and read. Now, why do I like this book? Why do I recommend it? Because it deals with a reality that a lot of entrepreneurs just ignore. There's a moment in your business where you realize this is tough, this is not easy, and you have to make a decision. Do you want it bad enough? Is it worth it? Does it have traction? Is it getting better? Is it worth your time? Is this a viable business? You're not a loser or a quitter if you quit because you decide it's just not a good investment of your time, resources, and energy. At the end of the day, you want to be a successful entrepreneur. That's your goal. So if one business fails or one business is not worth your time, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means that business is just not the one that you need to do. And this happens. This has happened to me a whole bunch of times in my life. And sometimes I have to make a decision between two businesses that have the potential to be successful. But the reality is you can't do everything. If you want to be successful, you have to put your full effort into the right things. I highly recommend you pick up this book. We're going to put it into today's show notes, which you can find at 100mba.net/MBA499. It's an easy read. It's actually a very fluid read, something that you can kind of get through in 1 or 2 sittings. Seth is a great writer, and it's going to help you feel better about the struggles you're having in your business. There's nothing wrong with going through some struggles in your business. It's just natural. But what you need to know is what to do with these struggles. How do you react? Do you hang on or do you pivot? Guys, I got more on today's topic, but before that, I got to give love to today's sponsor, Heroic Public Speaking. Guys, on February 15, 16, and 17, join Nicole and I in an amazing live public speaking event, Heroic Public Speaking. These 3 days of live training is going to change the way you see yourself as a speaker, whether it's on a video or on stage or on a webinar or in an interview or in a negotiation. Michael and Amy Poor are the masters when it comes to public speaking, and they can make you a better public speaker 100% guaranteed. I've gone through their training and the results have surpassed my expectations. I've been invited on stage to speak 11 times in 1 year alone. And it's helped me as a podcaster, as somebody who's on video, on webinars. I can't recommend it highly enough. Get your heavily discounted ticket over at 100mba.net/speaking. Again, get your discounted ticket at 100mba.net/speaking, and Nicole and I will see you there. To wrap up, why do I love this book so much? Well, first of all, Godin presents a truly motivational look at this whole paradox of quitting, and he sees it as a key ingredient to success. It makes a very strong case against, quote-unquote, quitters never win. It's not that quitters don't win, but more that only the savvy, courageous ones do. The ones that know when to quit and when to hang on. Again, guys, grab your copy of this book. You'll love it. A link to the book is in today's show notes at 100mba.net/MBA499. Guys, that wraps up today's lesson. But tomorrow, guys, is episode 500 of the $100 MBA show. Very, very special episode. We're going to be doing some special stuff tomorrow to celebrate 500 episodes. So tune in tomorrow, listen to tomorrow's episodes, because we're going to be giving away an amazing prize to everybody who's listening. It's a little gift just to celebrate 500 episodes of you guys being along with us, listening to the $100 MBA show every single day. Hit subscribe so you don't miss that episode and you download it automatically. I'll check you guys in tomorrow's episode, but before that, I want to leave you with this. I want to be completely clear here. The reason why I love this book, or the reason why this book is great, is not because it encourages you to quit, but it encourages you to recognize you can't do everything. You got to put your eggs in the baskets that will work, the ones that actually have traction, the ideas that will actually get you where you need to go. And sometimes that means choosing two ideas that are working, but which one is working better? Which one could you dedicate more of your time, effort, creativity to? It's a tough decision, but no one said it's going to be easy, guys. And don't get overwhelmed by this. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey of making these decisions in life and in business. None of these decisions are going to kill you. They'll just make you stronger. All right, guys, I'll check you in tomorrow's episode 500. I'll see you then, guys. Take care.